The Legend of Zelda is a cornerstone of gaming. It's been around for nearly 4 decades, it's received universal critical acclaim, and it consistently sets new benchmarks in design and storytelling. And yet, it doesn't always feel like Nintendo treats it this way. While franchises like Mario and Pokemon dominate store shelves, theme parks, and movie theatres, Zelda often lingers in the background. Today we're going to look at how Nintendo positions Zelda compared to its other flagship IPs and ask a question that might sound controversial. Why does Nintendo seem so hesitant to push Zelda to the same level of visibility? Welcome back to the Zelda realm. My name is Joe, and if it's your first time here, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel and like this video so you never miss an upload that can come back again and again and again. If you're like me and you love The Legend of Zelda, then this is the place for you, where every single week I upload Legend of Zelda videos for you to enjoy every Sunday. All my links are in the description below. That's second channel, Discord, live streams, and Patreon. So if you want to check those out, just click any of the links below. But that's more than enough about me. Let's get right into today's video. I want to start today's video by thinking about what I consider to be Nintendo's big three. So that's Mario, Pokemon, and Zelda. Mario is the undisputed mascot of Nintendo. He is everywhere. 2D games, 3D games, Mario Kart, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, Mario Strikers, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. The list goes on and on and on. Even in the real world, he dominates everything from merch to movies to Super Nintendo Land, and I'm putting Nintendo Land in inverted commas because there's only one franchise represented at Super Nintendo Land, World, whatever it's called, and that's Mario. What about Pokemon? It's even bigger. It's a multimedia empire. There's games, there's the anime, there's trading cards, there's toys, there's clothing merch, there's Pokemon Land or store in Tokyo, which I've been to back in the day. It's pretty hard to go anywhere without seeing Pokemon on something. In the UK, you go to a Tesco, Pokemon trading cards, same with any other good supermarkets. But by contrast, Zelda is much more limited. There are no annual releases really, no major merchandise pushes, no active media outside of the games up until this movie coming out in 2027. And there's definitely no theme parks or animated adaptations or anything like that. Unless, of course, your name's Major Link. We see the work you're doing. Big up. And it's not that Zelda is small, because it's definitely not. But the way that Nintendo promotes it and treats it, it makes it feel niche. It makes it feel like the kind of dark cousin of the Nintendo brands. From a critical standpoint, Zelda might actually be Nintendo's most respected franchise. If we think about it, Ocarina of Time is still one of the most highly rated games of all time. Breath of the Wild won Game of the Year in 2017, and a lot of people cite Breath of the Wild as a turning point in open world design. So why are Nintendo not leveraging that legacy more aggressively? And that part of the answer, I think, is how maybe they view Zelda internally. Unlike Mario, who's designed to be accessible to everyone, anytime, Zelda is slower, more narrative driven, and far more experimental. Each Zelda title reinvents itself, art styles change, game mechanics evolve, timelines are changing, we have the 3 branches. And I have said this before on the channel, but Zelda is very much the innovative playground for Nintendo to try new things. If you look at all of the last few games, if we go, Ocarina of Time was a massive step in how Nintendo told stories in their games. Majora's Mask explored that time loop element. The Wind Waker was seen as a really bold step in aesthetics. Twilight Princess almost went back to the norm a bit, but again we did have that exploration of the Dark World, the Twilight Realm, that kind of thing. Skyward Sword, obviously, was all about the motion controls. Breath of the Wild was about bringing Zelda to open world, and kind of a genre that Nintendo didn't really look into that much. And Tears of the Kingdom developed one of the greatest game mechanics of all time, two of them in fact, in Ultra Hand and Fuse. So this has always been the place where Nintendo really try new things, but because of that, it makes it very hard to commercialise Zelda consistently. But it doesn't really fully explain why Zelda isn't more visible in between game releases. It feels to me like Nintendo's release strategy for Zelda is cautious. We get a mainline Zelda title now, consistently it's been once every 6 years, and we get one spin-off, or maybe two, plus remasters in between. If we take the gap between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, in that 6 year period, we got an additional 3 Zelda games. We got the Link's Awakening remake, we got Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, and we got Skyward Sword HD. Now, since Tears of the Kingdom, we've already had an Echoes of Wisdom, the new spin-off game, really, and then we have Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment coming this winter, which really either means December this year or the very start of 2026. I think they're deliberately being vague there. Let's compare that to Mario, who appears in multiple games pretty much every year. Same for Pokemon, who gets an annual release, which again has been criticised of course, and obviously many other multimedia releases. When Zelda goes quiet, which it often does, there's almost no official communication, no short form content, no developer diaries, no community events, just silence. And I don't want it to look like I am wanting Zelda to be kind of bastardized in the same way that Mario is in terms of getting all these releases. That's absolutely not what I want in this situation. In fact, I'd be kind of appalled if we got to a situation where we were getting all the different spin-offs like Mario gets. But in that gap that exists between releases, the void isn't filled by Nintendo, it's very much filled by us, the fans. Whether that's fan theories, whether that's fan animations, whether that's lore videos, deep dive retrospectives, the Zelda community does a lot of heavy lifting where Nintendo just doesn't. And oftentimes, whenever these projects get very, very big, what do Nintendo do? They often shut them down. Over the last 15 or so years, we've seen glimpses of maybe what a more visible Zelda brand could look like. Way back in 2015, there were rumours of a live-action Netflix series, which never materialised, reportedly because of leaks. We are now in a situation, at recording of this video, where we are 23 months away from a live-action Zelda movie, which I personally have trepidation about. But again, at least this is going to be something that kind of brings Zelda to the forefront. In 2021, it was Zelda's 35th anniversary. There was really no hype, no pomp and circumstance around it. There wasn't even kind of a 35th anniversary direct. All we got that year was a Skyward Sword remaster and a Game & Watch collectible. If we compare that to Mario's 35th anniversary, there was a 35th anniversary direct specifically to announce a multi-game bundle, physical releases, other announcements. Pokemon, what about Pokemon? Every single year they have a direct to talk about mobile games, merch, their annual release. Happens all the time. But Zelda's anniversaries have always felt minimal, reserved, almost like Nintendo don't want to draw too much attention to it. And it's not really a one-off, it is a pattern. And as we approach Zelda's 40th anniversary, to me that feels like a massive milestone. And in saying that, Mario has not had anything yet this year. It feels like that will be the perfect opportunity to announce the next big project for Zelda. In fact, anything that you announce in 2026 is likely not going to release until 2027. And personally, I think Nintendo would be crazy to not have a game lined up with the release of the movie. But we'll see how that pans out. But just to be clear on this whole thing, I'm not saying that Nintendo dislikes Zelda. My title is deliberately provocative to really question that way of thinking. If anything, I think they treat it with an intense level of respect, but maybe slightly too much. Zelda is very much seen as a prestige product. It's not something that you mass produce. It is something that you craft. It's kind of like the idea of a film studio that makes like an Oscar-winning film every 5 years. It feels like that's what Nintendo go for. We as fans, though, we have to wait longer. We get fewer updates. And I know how I feel in that. I feel that the franchise that I love so deeply is underrepresented in the wider Nintendo kind of packet. You know, one of the things I look at with this channel, my very small but a channel I'm very proud of, is you guys, the audience. And the thing that I think is really interesting is that the audience here, a lot of you guys are between the age of kind of 20 to 40 plus. So it's a much older fan base. There is such a level of collectibles there that Nintendo could really get into. I imagine some of you watching would love the idea of like a Zelda crafted coffee table or something along those lines. It's a bit more prestige, a bit less of the kind of plushy toy that you maybe get for a Yoshi, for example. Maybe it's something that's a bit more kind of mature, I suppose. That kind of thing. To me, it's a missed opportunity from a business perspective. Zelda is a cultural juggernaut. It could be even bigger, and it could really bring a massive revenue stream to Nintendo. So here's the thing: what would I like to see change? I'm not saying that Zelda needs to be a Mario or a Pokemon. It doesn't need yearly sequels. It doesn't need yearly spin-offs. It doesn't need Zelda Kart, for example. But just a more active presence for me, more transparency between releases, not relying on Amiibo to get some news. I've been running this channel now for about 6 to 7 months, and in that time, there has been one trailer for a spin-off game. I'm trying to keep up to date with the news. Whenever games like Mario get a lot of news a lot of the time, that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about here. Does Nintendo not like Zelda? Of course they like Zelda. Of course they love Zelda. But it doesn't always necessarily mean that Zelda is the priority. Zelda is one of Nintendo's most treasured franchises. It really is the gift that keeps on giving for them. I think it's critically superior in every way to almost every other Nintendo franchise. It's maybe the only franchise that consistently gets 8, 9s and 10s across the board, and very often it's the only Nintendo franchise that is ever within a shout of winning Game of the Year. So as fans, we will always continue to celebrate Zelda. We will keep the conversation alive, we will make the content, we will do the lore deep dives, we'll make the retrospectives. But this is me saying I would love to see more from Nintendo. But what are your thoughts on this? Do you see the same thing that I see? Do you massively disagree? Please let me know in the comments. Please be kind in the comments. I think kindness in today's society goes a very long way, and I am one that likes to perpetuate kindness in everything that I do. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like for more. Please subscribe to the channel. We're marching towards 1,000 subscribers. At 1,000 subscribers, I will be releasing a full hour-and-a-half retrospective on Tears of the Kingdom. So if you're looking forward to that, hit that button, hit the bell so you never miss an upload. We're 2 weeks out from the new series here on the channel, The Legend of Zelda Beyond the Timeline. The trailer came out last week, so check that out. But until next week, I've been the Zelda Realm, and I'll see you very, very soon.